At some point, we are going to have to do a whole show about how good this show sounds.
Welcome to Downballot. We do the show live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you're checking out the podcast version of this show, thank you very much. And if you're watching live, thank you very much as well. I'm producer Dave, and you can find me in such places as Grindr.
I am Councilman. You can find me up in any place that has good boba drinks and maybe some spicy lemon chicken. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for today. So, you can also find me on Twitter at @THE_Councilman, where I look for all the lemon chicken. And you can look for that in my tweets and replies, because that's where you find the lemon chicken. And definitely check out Producer Dave's tweets and replies, because that's where all the heat and the fire and the locomotion is. Check out echoplexmedia.com. Check out the contact page to find us. Check out the support page to support us, and check out all the shows that we have to offer. This is a wide-ranging network with a lot of offerings. We have something for everyone, including Downballot. your local news and politics show here in the Bay Area and the South Bay Area. Stay tuned for Local Love later, which will be featuring some of the greatest in local tunes, featuring producer Dave and Chip DeVille.
And we have Docs Black joining us this week.
Very nice. Docs Black. Excellent. Anything like Lewis Black?
No.
Okay.
That would be for a different show, maybe.
Okay. Or Black Swan, maybe. Anyway.
So thanks for doing the docket, because I didn't have time today for anything. So that's good.
Not to worry. There was plenty out there, and I just wish I could have gotten around to a few different networks. But NBC Bay Area is going to be providing most of our content today because they just tend to post more local news and stuff you can find that doesn't direct you to some other random story that you were not intending to watch.
So you should just start replying. You should start replying to them. Be like, you post too much. You have internet brain. Stop it.
Right. KPIX, we're looking at you. You're the ones that post the redirects. So you got to watch out for those links. If you're telling us it's one thing, it should be the thing. But yeah, we got to get around KTVU, ABC. You guys do good work, but NBC kind of has you beat in terms of volume.
I'm assuming they just have a much bigger budget.
Probably, or they just have someone dedicated to doing the YouTube stuff because they have a pretty good YouTube presence. So you can find, and we found that these are a little easier videos to find, to watch, and to make sure that they are what they say they are.
So earlier today, you could have caught me on a panel about de-radicalization and online extremism. I was joined by Jangle Science Lad, Ninetales Cosmic Fox was the moderator. Faraday Speaks Caleb was on that panel. I was joined by Vivian Wolf, and I just can't. No Comment Chick was there. I can't remember everybody. There were a lot of people there, and panels can get a little chaotic, but a lot of fun. You can check that out on the replay on the Ninetales Cosmic Fox channel. And then Thursday, you'll be able to catch me on with Professor QAnon and Marcus Homozygote. We're going to be doing a conversation about what we refer to as academic window dressing, where someone is lying to you, but they're pretending to be a professor while they do it. So that's going to be the subject. And that'll be, I believe, 5 p.m. Pacific over there. The channel is Homozygote, with goat spelled GOAT. Definitely our people.
That sounds about right? Anything with the GOAT. It
says homo and goat in it. I am there.
So that professorialism or whatever, that sounds like Petersonism to me, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of the stuff that we talk about generally on Wednesday on the Intellectual Dollar Tree is going to come up for sure.
Fabulous. Well, I understood absolutely none of that as far as where that's going to be held. So I trust that you know where it's going to be and you can let people know. So
yeah, I'll be posting about it. I'll tag you in a tweet about it and beg you come hang out in the chat. The people are fun and smart. Professor QAnon is also now writing for our blog. We changed the name from magazine to it's now the Defamation Times. So check out our blog, go to our website, click on the link that says the Defamation Times, and you'll see us defaming all kinds of people's characters there. But I don't know, enough about me. Let's do the show, man.
Yeah, leading off tonight, we've got something, we caught on the news the other night and just thought instantly of Downballot. But this is just a reminder that if you're going to drive drunk and you're going to hit somebody, I mean, it's bad enough, but you might want to make sure that's not a sheriff's deputy that you hit. Just saying.
New at 5, frightening reminders of the dangers of driving under the influence. The Alameda County Sheriff's Office tweeted out these photos of a crash early this morning. 4:30 this morning, they say, a suspected drunk driver ran a red light at 16th Avenue and Foothill in Oakland. The driver crashed into a deputy's car at a high rate of speed. Deputy was injured in the crash, but is expected to be okay. The driver was arrested.
No shit.
There you go. Yeah, right. They had actually a video of this last night too. We can maybe provide it for the show notes, but they had the surveillance camera video of the accident. It was gnarly. I mean, I'm surprised that the sheriff is going to be okay, frankly, but that's more than likely because I'm guessing his ride was well equipped with safety mechanisms, right? Because they probably have to be pretty sturdy to be police vehicles, practically like a tank, right?
Yeah, it seems like the car bounced off of the SUV and then landed in somebody's front lawn.
Yeah, or the lawn of like a church of some sort. Yeah, and I imagine that they probably came out a little worse for wear. But yeah, it's just rule number one. I mean, if you're going to run into something, make sure it's not a cop. You may not get away with it anyway, but at least you're pretty much assured of not getting away with it when you hit the cop. So if you're driving drunk out there, just beware and be respectful and drive drunk responsibly. That's all I can say.
Or call an Uber.
That's also an option. There's apps for that now, honestly. Too drunk to drive? There's an app for that.
Never mind the fact that when we were kids, your parents would tell you never to get into the car with a stranger.
Right. Well, they're not a stranger, right? Like it's
your friend.
It's like, are you Frank? Are you Ahmed? Are you June? Yes. Are you Peter? Yes. Are you Bob? Yes. Are you Joe? Yes. They're friends. We're all friends now. So
yeah, don't drive drunk. And it looked like they were like day drunk driving too. There's nothing more fun than going for a stroll, like in Oakland where the weather's really nice. If you're drunk, just go for a stroll.
Right? Just get out. I think this might have happened. This might have been the aftermath footage when the sun came up. I think this might have happened overnight, possibly, but still, same point taken. I think there was no one on the streets, right? It was perfectly beautiful night, not a cloud in the sky. Get out and enjoy it and get some fresh air and walk.
After you've been drinking, you need it anyway.
Exactly. And really, realistically speaking, most of these accidents, when you are drinking, they found studies have shown that most of the accidents happen within a mile of your house anyway. So it's entirely likely that this person was very close to their home, or at least within walking distance of their home when they got into this accident. So it wasn't a residential street. It was not on a major thoroughfare or freeway or anything.
I will say it was nice to see that cop car so busted up, but that's different.
It's a different story, right?
That's a whole different show, a whole different story, probably a different channel.
Exactly. There is an item coming up in San Jose at the council soon, I think, around them buying new tanks. So stay tuned for that. That'll be a fun
great.
story.
I love it when cities buy tanks. Just in case they have to go to war with some other city. It's nice to have a tank.
Right. Well, that's the funny thing. They're rethinking public safety by saying, well, we're going to let you have the tank, but we're going to make you justify when you use it. Right. So you can have the tank, but you have to give us a list of when you might use it before you can buy the tank. So that's how they've satisfied it. So they can just make a list and tell it this is when we'll use it. And then the council will let them buy their little toy. Yeah.
So let's move on to winners and losers here, where there's really nobody, there's no winners. And if anybody does happen to come out ahead, it's just not who we're rooting for.
Typically, no, there are no winners and losers, but that's what we call irony. And if you're a regular listener or watcher of Downballot, you definitely know what falls into this category. So first off, I don't know if I want to say we covered this story a few years ago when they brought up the idea, but water cops are back. Are you going to get busted by the water cops? Are you conserving water? Do you?
I am a water cop.
I don't know that they have guns, but so I don't know how intimidating they are. But anyway, the Valley Water District is trying to get people to conserve by any means necessary, and they're looking at bringing back an old program of water cops.
Our climate in crisis now, and a new push to cut water use in the South Bay. Santa Clara County leaders are debating creating a new water enforcement team. Today in the Bay's Ginger Conejero-Saab is live this morning. Ginger, this comes as our reservoirs are extremely low.
That's right, Chris. Good Tuesday morning to you. We're right next to one of those reservoirs here in Los Gatos. So take a look at Lexington Reservoir behind me. It looks beautiful this Tuesday morning with you can see the water that's filling up the reservoir. But as of yesterday, Lexington, along with the other reservoirs in the county, are only at 24% full. And like much of the state, Santa Clara County falls under that severe drought category. In response to this, both state and local officials are taking action today. Take a look at your screen. There's a lot of orange and even some red on that map. And that's exactly what California's Department of Water Resources and the Water Board will address today at a media briefing that's set to begin in just a couple hours. Here's what's so alarming. California has experienced the driest January to March on record. And as we approach the warmer months, water conservation will play an even bigger role in offsetting this drought that we're experiencing. Different counties here in the Bay Area are offering solutions, incentives, and now enforcement. Santa Clara County, who back in 2019 gently asked people in the county to cut back watering their lawns to 2 or 3 times a week, say their request didn't work.
March of 2022, our water use was 30% higher than March of 2019. What we were looking for was a 15% reduction, and we ended up with a 30% increase.
Well, whose fault is that?
Now they're proposing a new ordinance with enforcement restrictions that will be presented to the board soon. Water police, as they will be called, may start enforcing by the end of the month. First, starting off with door hangers, and then we'll step up to enforcement with fines of up to $500 per occurrence. Meantime, over in Marin County, the Small Business Administration is offering economic support for some agricultural businesses that have been impacted by the drought. Some economic loans are also available for non-farm businesses that work directly with those agricultural businesses. So there are steps in trying to help those really affected by this drought. We'll find out more where the state and where local officials are planning to go. We're live in the South Bay. Ginger Conejero-Saab, Today in the Bay.
Water police coming for you. They need like a theme song and, sound effects. It's anytime you say it, right? Like water police, squirt.
But it should be like more like Get Smart and less like The Wire.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm writing you up. $500 fine, $500 fine, $500 fine. Yeah, that's a little frightening, I suppose. I mean, if people need work though, so it's a good job for folks to have. It sounds like, it sounds like they're going to have a need for it. I don't know. It seems to me that, I don't know how fair a lot of these conservation tactics are. Frankly, you always ask them, well, I've been conserving like a diligent, resident for many years. When you told me to conserve and cut back, I cut back. So you're asking me to cut back again. But what about my neighbor who, maybe hasn't cut back and waters their lawn at 4 p.m. at the, the highest heat of day? Do they have the same obligation to cut back as I do in terms of like, is it incremental, right? Like, do they have to cut back to where I was 3 years ago and then some, right? And do I only have to go a certain length because I've already cut back enough, right? At what point?
Well, the problem here, and we all know what's going to happen, right? They're not going to go up into the Los Gatos Hills and start busting people for wasting water.
Hell no, and more than likely not the big ag farmers who have lobbyists and money to defend themselves, right? And the homeowners in the Rose Garden and the Nagley Park areas, right, with the big lawns. They won't bust them. It'll be folks on like the east side and South San Jose, in the lower income single family communities with lawns, right? They're the ones that will get busted for sure.
And like this is like another one of those things where like density is good because there's 4 residences in the building I live in and just a tiny little grass lawn in front of it. And so what if these were 4 freestanding single family homes? It's like, we keep coming back to this. The solutions to a lot of these things are the exact thing the people who live in the communities don't want.
Isn't that interesting? That's a really fantastic point. I think that people need to get their heads around because I was dealing with this just the other day. Doing community outreach, talking to an old friend who I share a lot of values with in terms of, arts and culture and progressive values to some, and social justice and things like that. But up to a point, right? The point being that they're a property owner in, south of San Jose State in downtown, right? But in a neighborhood that at one point was a bunch of, Victorian and single family homes, but now is like, growing up, right? And it's slated for development. It's slated for more mid-rises and high-rises and denser living, denser arrangements, right? Of businesses and residences. And they're, of course, older, and my friend is older, and his wife are concerned about the future of the city and development and getting not priced out, but just getting overwhelmed with all of these people that are coming to their neighborhood, right? And all their cars and their stuff and, taking up space, and the high rises, blocking out their view of the sun. And that's influencing, their political decisions to the point that they're, they fall in line with whoever it is tells them what they want to hear and tells them that they're going to protect this bucolic suburban lifestyle that they've come to expect, when in reality, everybody knows who's in the know knows that that's not where we're headed, especially in a place like downtown, which is just naturally going to densify. So to me, it's like, but you're right. I think folks who are, who want us, who want other folks to conserve, who really want to push these things and want us to be smarter and want cities to be smarter and want governments to be smarter, they want it up to a point. And the point being when it comes to their neighborhood, right?
It's this American individualism thing where they want to, instead of seeing like systemic solutions to problems like water, which would, again, it's just building taller buildings so that everybody doesn't have a lawn. Not for nothing though. There's a lot of tech here, and a lot of those fucking places will water cool their data center via direct water cooling, or even like spritzing cold air or cold water into the air to lower the temperature. And I just have a feeling that they're not going to be asked to cut back. Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that we try to create energy efficiency by using more energy, right? Like that other oxymoron or great irony, right? So, yeah, no, very interesting to see how this evolves, especially because I just don't see that big splotchy map. I don't see that getting any better, frankly. I mean, with climate change, whatever you want to fucking call it, global warming being what it is. If the experts and the scientists who I think we trust in this network to some extent, if they're right, we're headed towards a greater environmental collapse. So this is only going to get worse, right? It's not going to get better no matter how much we conserve. So I think we're headed towards a real dangerous place. But you're right. The denser we get, the easier it is to manage. And studies show something like 60-70% of water usage is outdoors. It's in your yard. It's not in your house, right? It's not your laundry area or dishwasher or anything. Your drinking water. It's the water you use to keep your house, keep your property values up, and keep your visibility up. What's the word? The curb appeal. Sorry, keep your curb appeal up.
Yeah, so. And homeowners associations maybe have a little bit to answer for here too, because. You're trying to do the right thing, and then you get a fine from your homeowners association because your lawn looks like shit. Well, it's like, I would just write them back and be like, listen, the city is saying to cut back on water. I'm cutting back on water, and I'm not paying this. If you'd like to go to arbitration, I'm your Huckleberry. Let's go.
Let's do it. Brown is the new green, bitch.
But I do respect the people who have like rock gardens and stuff in front of their place, like trees that don't need a lot of water, and because that takes work, and you're definitely bucking the trend in your neighborhood, and people are going to think you're weird because you have a rock garden. But I think people do it sometimes because it looks cool, and I think a lot of times it looks very cool, like a rock garden with like a koi pond or something looks very cool. But I think some people are like environmentally minded, and they're like, well, I'm going to do what I can, and let's throw some rocks in front of the place. Plus, you don't got to mow the rocks, right? So.
Truth. And
in fact, I recommend against mowing the rocks. It sounds dangerous.
Probably dangerous for everyone involved, including maybe not the rocks, but and native plant gardens, succulent gardens, same effect as far as water goes, but even can be even more beautiful. So mix that with a rock garden and the koi pond, and you got yourself a really rockin' front yard. And I've seen a few. Our neighborhood's actually pretty good for that. Our house has always been. We've never had a lawn, at least not in the front yard, and we let our lawn go in the backyard long ago. So it's just, it's pretty much weeds and rocks. But I've seen a lot of nice yards in our neighborhood that have been converted from lawns to, native plants, and it looks very nice. Doesn't ruin your curb appeal, doesn't ruin your property value, and helps the environment in your community too. Imagine all that. Now, it's all easy to say that when you go to hire a landscape contractor, you're looking at thousands of dollars to redo your yard. So don't get me wrong, like it's still a privilege to be able to do it. So maybe the city and government can come in with a little bit of support to help you do it, and they do. There are grants, small grants available to homeowners to help you do this. So look into it.
So what's going on up in Concord?
Shit, I don't know. High school mascots are a really sensitive subject, just like high school names, right? We had a big thing in San Francisco with the naming of schools causing the recall of some of the board members. So apparently a mascot, there was a suggested name change for a mascot at a high school up in Concord, and people freaked the fuck out.
I spoke to the superintendent today, and he says there's a lot of history behind these mascot changes, although there are a lot of complaints about the changes erasing history.
Minuteman symbol is a gentleman standing with a rifle. We don't want guns on our campuses or images of guns.
But a recent community survey asking people to vote on a new mascot has triggered a lot of discussion in the community. Some are contemplating their choices.
One of them would be Concord Kangaroos, Concord Chameleons.
A couple of kids on the baseball team were saying cows, and I thought that might be a joke. I'm not sure if that's one of the possibilities.
I like that guy.
Cows, the Concord Cows, very nice.
The Concord Cows.
The cats. Ooh, the cats.
But others don't want to discuss the new name. They want to know why the school wants to get rid of the old one.
Yeah, it was part of our history during the Revolutionary War.
The Great Revolutionary War fought in Concord, California. Get the fuck out of here.
By John Eklund. He's the last known survivor of the Revolutionary War, in fact.
Could not win a war, got rifles, and I'm really glad that they went and fought for us. So we have.
He's a grandparent.
We're not a British colony.
Concord High isn't the only school making changes. At nearby Ignacio Valley High School, you'll notice the Indian warrior mascot is no longer on the school signs. Last month, the district board voted to switch the warriors for the wolves. Superintendent Dr. Adam Clark says about 7 years ago, the state directed schools to replace Native American mascots. And last year, the district board voted to replace any human mascots with non-human mascots.
I think the students would want to move to something just a little bit more peaceful and a little bit more reflective of them, and something that they could somewhat relate to.
This is the one that
the Jaguars.
And why?
Crocodile.
We always went to the zoos. We always go look at the alligators and stuff, crocodiles, reptiles, stuff like that. It always caught my attention.
Picking a new name will ultimately involve public hearings and a district vote. Until then, the debate continues, and the Minuteman stands at attention at Concord High. In Concord, Sharon Katsuda, NBC Bay Area News.
Did you hear the rooster?
Yeah, so I like the cats, but the cows, it's a really cool name. Like, the other team is going to be confused. They're gonna be, what do you mean, the cows?
The Concord Cows. Let's go, cows.
Like, the opposing team is going to be like, what?
The uniforms, I can just imagine the uniform combinations and colorways you could have. It would be fabulous. The shoes alone would be just an epic.
You remember back in the day, people would put cow print seat covers on their car? I think that would be what the uniform absolutely should look like. Again, just baffling the opposing team.
And the helmet would be a cow print helmet. Oh my God, the shoulder pads, the whole nine. That would be just beautiful. And then like the mascot would be a cow, right? Like a living cow. You'd have to have a cow run, or maybe not a steer with like the horns, but like literally just a milk cow. That would be just, and instead of like running out like the Texas Longhorn mascot, right? The steer, it just sort of ambles out, like, and it takes like a couple minutes to get to the center of the field, right? And so everyone's just waiting, or it's dragging like a cannon behind it or something.
The cow is bored and has no idea why it's there.
The chameleon's kind of cool though. Like the chameleon could just disappear, right? So it'd be kind of like,
really
hey, our mascot's here. Yeah, it's like, our mascot's right over there. Where? Right over there.
I can't see it. Yeah, it's a chameleon, dude. That's the point.
but I am going to say this, and yes, this comes from a space of being a white male privileged dude. Whatever. The Minuteman, really, like, this is the Revolutionary War. It's not like it's not. I don't know. It's a white guy with a gun. I get it, but it's like it's a musket, and it's obviously got some historical significance. I don't know. I don't feel it's derogatory towards me as a white man, and doesn't imply that this Minuteman was also a slave-owning, autocrat. Maybe he was. Who knows? That particular Minuteman.
I got the solution to all this and the statues, all of it. Rotate it all out every 10 or 15 years. That way, like, nobody's going to be mad that you took the old one out, because you just rotate them out every 15 years. So
there you go.
That way, you change the name of the school every 10, 15 years, remove the statues, get a new statue every 10 or 15 years, change the name of do the school mascot, like at the same time you do the school name change just every 15 years, just spice it up. And then you've like taken the air out of the sails of the people who are going to get mad when it changes. You go, no, we're just changing it every 10 years now. Just so.
Yeah. I mean, kids nowadays, like in high school, they pick class mascots, right? They even pick class like logos or class monikers these days. So yeah, I don't see why you just don't just let the kids pick the mascot every year, right? Like whoever's on the ASB, right? Or you let the student body vote on it, right?
Well, maybe not every year, because then you're replacing all kind of stuff all the time, and it does get expensive. But
well, you can get a grant for that, right? Like the Echoplex Media Foundation will give your district a Make-A-Wish grant to do this, just to see if it would work. But anyway, but yeah, I agree with you there. Maybe a little rotation, or just maybe not being so married to anything in our history, and remembering that all of your heroes are more than likely trash.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a really good thing to remember. We say it a lot on this show, but it's good to remind people. So just remember that. And even if you know someone, you don't really know them, right? So maybe we should. Maybe they're right. Maybe we shouldn't name shit after people anymore. Well, that might be a better option.
We should just name it after somebody's pet, because what did Fluffy the cat ever really do to anybody?
I think the Good Wife would be totally happy naming anything after our dog. That would be great. Whole cities, countries, even.
Yeah. See, but yeah, I just think the the stuff about art on the wall, change it out every few years. Statues, tear the thing down every few years and put up a new one, because times change, and so should, I don't know, the world around you. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.
Everything dies. Everything. Speaking of dying, no, I'm kidding. Actually, less people are dying from COVID, which is a very good thing. Moving along in winners and losers, City of San Jose has gotten a little spooked, and they're requiring now all of their employees to once again wear masks around city facilities. So we'll see how far if this goes any further. But for now, let's find out what's happening.
More than 6,000 people who work for the city of San Jose, masks indoors are once again a job requirement.
The priority remains the health and safety of our employees.
Even though our interview with the city spokeswoman was done virtually, she wore a mask because she was inside City Hall at the time, one of the many city buildings where masks are once again mandatory for employees and strongly encouraged for the public.
We anticipate lifting the requirement on Friday, May 20th, 2022. However, this date may be extended as we continue to monitor case rates within the Santa Clara County and within our workforce.
And they don't have to look too far to see proof that masking works. At the Elm Rock School District in East San Jose, the mask mandate was never lifted. Administrators will tell you they had no choice because local community case rates were high, but vax rates were low, and it's paid off.
Our numbers are not as bad.
On January 9th, Elm Rock had 255 school exposures. It dropped to single digits before spring break, and after a short expected Easter spike, the number is once again back down to single digits tonight.
I feel very reassured that the decision of keeping the masks was good. I think that it was an important layer of protection.
In fact, with the county COVID numbers climbing, the superintendent is now considering extending the mask requirement to summer school. The question now, as every Bay Area county is now back in the high transmission category, is whether others will follow San Jose's lead. Damian Trujillo, NBC Bay Area News.
So the trend has been that everybody follows Santa Clara County's lead on this stuff eventually. That's just been the trend.
Nationwide, even we've been a leader in this for a long time. I like Jordan Peterson's the next video that comes up here. That's nice.
Well, the YouTube account we use to stream, is what it is, and sometimes late at night, I just let it recommend something to me and we watch it. So
algorithms, baby.
Once you go down the rabbit hole a few times, all the tunnels lead to that same rabbit hole.
That's how they design it, baby. And it works both ways. The knife cuts both ways, right? Anyway, so I'll admit, as a public servant, I like how proactive our county has been, and the city of San Jose have been. I do know that there's a crap ton of people out there, including elected officials, they'll say, I don't put this lightly, but they'll say, just fucking tired of COVID, right, and tired of everything, and just want to go back to quote unquote normal, or how things quote unquote used to be, and obviously aren't willing to accept that things are going to be different.
Things used to be a lot of shit, right?
Yeah.
And we're not going back to like some of it. It's just the way the world is,
Yeah, we've been talking about it all night, right? Like housing, your neighborhood, public safety, your concept of what's of what equity and equality and what what all that mean. Everything is evolving. Everything constantly evolves, right? You just have to be. You either accept that and roll with it and try to evolve with it, and you can benefit from it even, or you just stay stuck, right? And if you don't have any power, the only reason you want to stay stuck is if you're stuck with power. But a lot of people who are stuck don't have a lot of power, and that's what really pisses me off. It's like you could change your situation if you just got unstuck. And not enough of us are getting unstuck. Most of us are pretty well stuck. That's why we end up with people like Trump in office, frankly. Oh, gee. Now I'm getting all cynical, producer Dave.
I know. That's why I bring you here, to make sure that you keep that cynicism like at a fever pitch.
That's what Winners and Losers is all about, really. It's enough to make you want to, fry your tailbone. But anyway, as we like to close out Winners and Losers each week, we like to ask someone to get their shit together. And lately, wouldn't you know it, San Jose PD has had a lot of shit to get together. And this is the latest.
The new sexual misconduct accusations come while the San Jose Police Department is under a public microscope for officer misbehavior. It's something San Jose Police addressed earlier this week.
That officer was immediately placed on administrative leave.
To first start off and say,
the union's president says he's outraged by this latest case.
If these allegations are proven to be true, then this person has no place in law enforcement.
NBC learned an officer who responded to a home recently with a mother and daughter inside is accused of masturbating onto their kitchen table.
Having these different incidences really has led us to a place where we want to start taking a much harder look at our hiring process, our background process, and really see, is there something that's being missed.
The other issues he's referring to were last week's revelation that 24-year-old rookie officer Dejan Packer died from a fentanyl overdose following a night of partying with other officers. Then another officer was placed on administrative leave for allegedly being intoxicated when he responded to the scene of the kidnapping of a baby boy. Sources with knowledge of that case tell us the officer had a blood alcohol level of 0.139, nearly twice the legal limit.
This has been a scandalous week for the San Jose Police Department.
Legal analyst Stephen Clark says these repeated instances of misbehavior have a ripple effect.
Wait a minute, not for nothing. Shouldn't, while you're doing your job, the legal limit just be 0?
That would probably be a good idea. Yeah, like not drinking at all, maybe, or doing drugs at all when you're on the job and you're holding a gun in the position of power like that. Yes,
possibly.
Yeah. Possibly. I mean, really any job.
Tarnish law enforcement in general when it comes to trust.
And even though this only involves a small number of officers, there's a spillover effect that people will start to wonder what is going on at the San Jose Police Department when you think of this many incidents in a short period of time.
Clark says the DA's office will likely review every case involving these officers because defense attorneys are sure to use the misconduct to poke holes in prosecutors' cases.
You could see cases being overturned or cases being dismissed because once an officer's credibility is called into question, the entire case can fall apart.
No argument from the police union.
And we want to ensure that that the public does trust us and really understands, again, that this is not who we are.
It is who you are.
Jensen, NBC Bay Area News.
That's at the end, that was a lie.
Yes, well, and he is the president of the Police Officers Association, so that goes with the territory. Yeah, the hypocrisy coming out of Sean Pritchard's mouth right there is unfucking believable. Say, oh yeah, now we should look at our hiring practices, and now we should look at, take a deep dive into who we're putting on the force, right, and who we're putting out there to represent us. And it's every single fucking time anyone calls for something like that, right? What does the union step up and do? Say, fuck you, no, we're not, meet and confer. We got to go to the negotiation table for that. Like, you're not gonna constrain our ability to do our job. You're not gonna tell us how to do our jobs. You're gonna tell us who we should hire and who we shouldn't hire, right? It's only when shit like this blows up. And again, they didn't have the same reaction to the shit that happened in the wake of the George Floyd protests. They just said, oh, well, we've got some tactics we could probably look at, and we need to have better training, right? But they weren't willing to look at even the one officer who we all know was being an absolute bastard, right? Like, all cops aren't bastards. I know this for a fact, but this one bastard, was very obviously being a bastard, and they were reluctant to even call them out directly, right? Now that there's a cop who's been busted masturbating on someone's table, now, Sean, you're ready to look at the hiring practices. Okay, cool. Well, we'll remember this the next time, like, someone on the city council proposes to do this, and we'll see your reaction, right? Anyway,
it's like when they get caught out like with something completely extreme, they're like, "Oh, we need to examine our hiring practices." It's like, you should have done that a while ago. Correct.
So it shouldn't be surprising then that they are endorsing someone for mayor, the only like major candidate for mayor who's not on the city council right now, right? Who has nothing to do with their contract, and can promise them whatever they want, right? Because they they don't have to work with them at this point, right? Until later. The glory of local politics. It's just beautiful. We're going to get into it a little bit more tonight, actually, on Down Ballot Watch. It's kind of a good segue, I suppose.
See, what we got here is, I guess, elevator pitches from the major candidates for San Jose mayor.
Correct. Actually, not just the major ones, the minor ones too. So you're gonna love a couple of these, I guarantee you. So I'm not sure what order they go in, to be honest with you, but it's pretty much scrolling down that page and hitting them one at a time.
To Decision 2022 now, and we are now less than a month away from deciding several key Bay Area races. And starting today, ballots will be mailed out for that June statewide primary.
In San Jose, 7 people running to replace Mayor Sam Liccardo. We reached out to each of those candidates, asking them what they want those voters to know. Well, the vote videos that you're about to see will be the order those candidates will appear on the ballot. So let's take a look.
Here we go.
I want to be elected the next mayor of San Jose. I'm a third-generation San Jose resident. I worked for the residents of San Jose for 31 years as a police sergeant. I've been active in San Jose government as a city council aide to Councilman John DeQuisto, a 2-time city council candidate, and appointed a member of the Greater Downtown Task Force. I know what San Jose has been and can be.
And next.
I grew up in San Jose, graduated from San Jose State, taught at-risk kids, and served as a San Jose police officer. As an officer, I saw firsthand the crisis of homelessness. Fact is, we can't solve homelessness without addressing the mental health challenges in our community. I'm running for mayor to continue my work in building permanent supportive housing and to expand our services for mental health and drug treatment so that people can get back on their feet.
Next.
You will love this guy.
Because I believe that the solutions to homelessness, affordable housing, and climate change come from the people and the compromise between them. Not from fruitless arguments about nothing. Because we can build.
It's gonna hate my channel late at night.
Yes, we can.
Helping 14,000 homeless people find a home. The DA and I created a national model, arresting rapists by quickly processing their DNA. Working with police officers and neighborhood leaders, I know we can make San Jose the safest big city in America again.
Oh, not Deb.
My councilwoman.
It's my councilwoman. Studying the issue of non-citizen voting. I will bring honesty and transparency back to city government, restore San Jose to the safest big city in America, and preserve our neighborhoods. We must build housing the average person can afford and tackle homelessness and blight. I look forward to your support for me.
Oh, Marshall.
I'm running for mayor because I want to keep fossil fuels in the ground and make San Jose a food garden again. If you're interested in learning more about how I will make San Jose a global leader in the effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, visit MarshallWoodmansee.com.
What happened to Marshall?
Reach out with me to start this important discussion about.
Okay, listen, we understand you've tried DMT.
Families in San Jose are working harder than ever, and our city government needs to work just as hard as you do. My name is Matt Mahan, and I don't believe that politicians should get automatic raises until San Jose does a better job addressing homelessness, rebuilding our police department, and cleaning up our city.
And there you have it. You see the 7 candidates there. You can watch all of their.
It's not looking good for San Jose.
For each of those candidates right now.
Not looking good, folks.
BayArea.com.
You can move to Sunnyvale or Campbell or Milpitas. Even Milpitas at this point, things aren't looking so great.
Yeah, I absolutely knew that. I figured that was going to be your reaction. After watching the videos, especially. I'll say this much. I don't think that all of those necessarily represent some of those folks as well as they can. I think Jim Spence is, you can't do a whole bunch with him. He pretty much is like a little mini Trump figure almost. And he was the one that said that we need to do something about the hobo problem at one of the recent debates. So that was pretty good. Yeah. So interesting assortment. A tech bro, a county supervisor, and sort of nonprofit industrial complex leader, 2 cops, and a data wonk. That's pretty much what you got.
So listen.
Oh, and Marshall.
So listen, I'm just going to tell you my 2 favorites are the guy that was trying to sell me DMT, and then Dev Davis. Probably, unfortunately, like it's just not looking good.
I was the only one to stand against non-citizen voting.
Oh well, but I mean, like, it's not like the other people weren't saying a bunch of I guess Cindy Chavez would actually be my second choice. But again, the guy who's definitely tried hallucinogens and changed his look up is my first choice.
Marshall's fabulous. I've been at a couple of forums with them recently. I got to see Marshall, and what a kick! His girlfriend is his campaign manager. She is also very interesting cat. So I highly recommend, if you haven't already, folks, get out there and check out a forum. There's plenty of them that are posted online. You can watch them on tape delay, as it were, on your own time, and you can fast forward and rewind and talk with your friends about it. But if you're in San Jose, if you're voting, you're going to get a ballot this week, and you're going to have to. I mean, you don't have to vote for one of these fuckers, I guess, but think about it. Check them out, and see who might represent your values the best. I would 100% guarantee you none of them is going to get more than 50% of the vote on June 7th when the election closes. So we're going to have a runoff of the top 2 in November. So you can have a say now and make sure that at least 1 or 2 of the folks that you like are in that runoff, or you can wait and have everyone else choose for you who the 2 you get to choose from in November are. Right. That's my pitch for voting in a primary. Especially when there's a runoff situation, because you could wait and see how things turn out, right? See who the best cream of the crop is, but it may not be the person you want to vote for necessarily, and you're letting other people decide for you. You're letting a very small percentage of the electorate choose for you. We'll probably have producer Dave 45% max people of registered voters, not even just people, but registered voters. 45% turnout to vote in this election. That's a small fraction, frankly, of the community. So don't let them determine the community's vote. Like, get out there and have your voice heard.
And vote for DMT guy.
Vote for DMT guy. I'm totally biased, so I'm not even going to say who my horse is. But but don't. I would not begrudge anyone voting for Marshall. Honestly, he's probably the most honest and just a non-politician of the whole bunch. He really is in it because he cares about the things he's talking about, even if he is a little bit on that side of things, on the spectrum, as they say. He really does legit care about the things he's talking about too, and I think others there do as well. But the political machine gets us all eventually.
So we got one more story here in Downballot Watch. It looks like the supervisor that was representing the Tenderloin district in San Francisco, were they recalled? Is that correct? Or did they quit?
No, that was Matt Haney. The guy who was just elected to the assembly to replace David Chu, who was appointed the city attorney and is now running to be the city attorney, again, or to continue as a city attorney. So Mr. Haney was just recently elected in a special election to the assembly. So he had to abdicate his supervisor seat in San Francisco. It's a supervisor / city councilman. You're called a supervisor, but you're really running the city and the county. So you're actually doing kind of both jobs at once. It's pretty interesting. But because of a quirk in the rules, instead of this triggering an election to replace Matt Haney, London Breed the mayor gets to appoint someone to replace Matt Haney until the next election. And theoretically, this person could stand for election. I think it's next year when they elect in odd years in San Francisco because they're odd. So next year he would stand for election. But I don't believe this is the person that Matt Haney had sort of tapped or wanted to be his replacement. I think London Breed is exercising some of her political will here.
I, Matt Dorsey,
do solemnly swear
that I will...
Today, Mayor London Breed swore in the newest member of the Board of Supervisors. It's an appointment that San Francisco's police chief jokingly said he has mixed feelings about.
Let me thank Mayor Breed for making what I believe to be an outstanding selection. But I'm a little ticked because we're losing such a great guy.
After spending years as Chief Scott's lead spokesman and strategist, Matt Dorsey will now fill the vacant District 6 seat left open when Matt Haney was sworn in as state assemblyman. Advocates for public safety were applauding the appointment, saying Dorsey provides a new police ally on the board.
Matt's been a very stand-up person, and he always cares about public safety, which is a big concern of mine as well.
Prior to working with the San Francisco Police Department, Dorsey spent 14 years at the city attorney's office as a spokesperson for Dennis Herrera. Dorsey describes himself as a 3-time drug rehab graduate and says his highest priority is taking on the city's opioid crisis. He calls it a public health calamity, even comparing it to the darkest days of the AIDS epidemic.
And as a gay man living with HIV who remembers those terrifying days, I will tell you that just like AIDS, the stigma of who is dying is masking the horror of how many are dying.
This appointment for now Supervisor Matt Dorsey sets up an interesting run for him to retain his seat in District 6. Reached by phone, Honey Mahogany confirmed plans to run for the seat in November.
I love Honey Mahogany. I smoked weed with her behind Splash.
And aide to former District 6 Supervisor Matt Haney, and Dorsey, who many see as a city insider and ally.
They were Matt Haney's pick.
Those people, they're wonderful people. The winners is
Sharky Laguana.
6 months to mount a campaign.
It can't be a real name.
Quintana, right. NBC, Bay Area News.
Yeah, what was that with Sharky Laguana? That sounds like two.
That's what. It sounds like the villain or like the alter ego of a villain in a Marvel comic or something. I don't know.
It's like when you want to name your kid after an animal and you can't pick one, so you pick two.
So it was Haney's aide who Haney would prefer to have the seat. So you can imagine he'll be campaigning for them pretty aggressively when the time comes for the election. Interesting though, I don't think that Haney. Matt, they're both named Matt, so I have to go with last name. But I don't believe Haney got along very well with the POA in San Francisco and the police union, or the police for that matter. He more likely sided with Chesa and that side of the coin. So it's interesting choice by Breed. It's sort of exerting her power and picking a police apologist basically to fill the seat.
Didn't Breed run as a progressive?
I mean, it's San Francisco, so it's all different shades, right? But I mean, she's a black woman, so at the end of the day, like if she's not a progressive, she's going against her own, what's best for her, frankly, and her own values, I'd say. But yeah, I mean, they all run as progressives, but she's certainly proven to be at least a little more moderate, and more police friendly, public safety friendly. Like remember she just a few months ago was proposing a huge crackdown right in the Tenderloin, right, and sent a lot of police resources there into Haney's district. So
didn't they end up
they butted heads?
Didn't they end up not doing it though?
They did it. It's just that it didn't. There's been no. It's one of those lovely proposals and initiatives where they take it on, and maybe there is something that happens early on, or maybe there is some sort of sustained investment, but it doesn't actually solve the problem. Or it's a solution in search of a problem, or it's a problem in search of a solution. And you don't want to go back to it and highlight it because nothing happened. Or the whole point was not that something was going to happen in the first place, right? The whole point was you're going to talk about how I'm doing something about it. And it really doesn't matter if anything happens at the end of the day because you realize how news cycles work and how media works and how people's brains work and memories work and attention spans work. No one's going to remember whether it happened or not, right? Even we're kind of hazy on like, did something happen?
Yes.
So, right. But you made the big splashy hit, and London Breed is now known as fucking tough on crime, London Breed, right? In all the right circles. So when she runs for something else, Attorney General or whatever she wants to run for next, right? She's known as tough on crime, London Breed. So regardless of what she ran for in her race, but in her race, she told everyone, I'm progressive London Breed. And if they don't put two and two together, she's still progressive London Breed to them, right? Or even if they do put two and two together, she had to do that because she's looking out for people. She's caring for the people that, they're sweeping away and sweeping into, out of the neighborhood and sweeping up off the street, right? She's being humane to them and doing the right thing and giving them treatment. So, anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. She's going to be the law and order candidate when she runs for re-election, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's what she's angling for sure. But it's not surprising. And like I said, in San Francisco, it is gradations of blue there, right? There, even a moderate Democrat can struggle to succeed there, just given the electorate. But there's just enough. There's just enough of those folks in the outer districts, right, in the outer neighborhoods, outside of the downtown and Market and Soma and the Tenderloin and Chinatown, right, in the less, whatever you want to call it, less gritty neighborhoods, if I can use a racist term. There's enough of those folks there that can keep someone like London Breed in power and can empower others and can still exert a lot of political sway over the city, even if there's tons of the majority of folks are more like us. Not for nothing though, she's like in a big fight with the DA sort of, and the DA is in a big fight with the police, and then she appoints a spokesman for the police. I think that it may also be a little bit about kind of sticking her thumb in Chesa Boudin's eye a little bit there. 100%, right? And again, exerting political will, showing which side she's on, right, and whose side she's on. At the end of the day, police unions, they spend a lot of money in public safety unions, spend a lot of money in elections, right? And they you don't necessarily, and they are still, no matter what we think, right? You and me and us and folks who watch this show and listen to this podcast think when they do polls, there's still 3 ballot designations that come up top of the pops: teacher, police officer, firefighter, right? Constantly. So police when polling are still the most well-regarded. When you ask someone does this person or this group's endorsement matter to you if you were picking a candidate, right? Not police unions, maybe police officers come up very, very high still. Police unions, not so much anymore, but police officers. So regardless of what we think, they're still the more powerful political force, unfortunately, when it comes to voting. But we can change that. That's why people watch and listen to this show. We encourage you. That's why we encourage people to, because we want you to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. So hopefully Downballot is part of the solution, but we'll see. So we got another thing. I think I'm just going to call this Dude, Where's My Truck and let the fucking thing play, if that's okay with you. Yeah, it's very self-explanatory. I shouldn't talk at all.
Good evening. I'm Audrey Sistio.
I'm Terry McSweeney. For the second time in a year, a San Jose man had his truck full of tools stolen. This time he springs into action, tracks down the thief himself, and gets his truck back.
And all of this is caught on dash cam, and you'll only see it right here on NBC Bay Area. NBC Bay Area's Miriam Favreau shows us how and why the man says he did it.
Robert Pendergrass says this surveillance video from a neighbor's home shows a thief stealing his truck in South San Jose Tuesday. Robert says he called police and met with a community service officer who came out to the scene. As a contractor, he says his truck is critical to his livelihood.
When somebody takes it from you, it's like hurting one of your children. I mean, it's that important to me. And that important to me is I'm going to do whatever that takes.
After filing a police report, Robert realized he could use his AirTag tracking device to find out where his truck was. He jumped in his daughter's car and drove down to Morgan Hill to find it, while telling law enforcement what he's doing. He says this dash cam video shows his own truck passing him. So Robert made a U-turn and followed the driver.
I'm chasing my truck right now. We're heading towards San Martin.
Robert keeps following his truck all the way to Gilroy.
He's taking me to a place where it's dangerous for me now. He stops and jumps out of the car, the truck, and runs. Within 10 minutes, Highway Patrol shows up, Morgan Hill Police, Gilroy Police and the Sheriff Department all meet where I'm at.
Less than 2 hours after his truck was stolen, Robert gets his vehicle back. But it's not the first time this has happened. Last April, someone stole the same truck and everything inside.
At that time, it was about $5,000 in tools. It was variations of all my kind of hand tools I use for my typical job work.
Luckily, a neighbor saw someone selling his tools a few miles away. Police responded and helped him get his truck back. This time, he lost $500 worth of tools. San Jose police repeatedly warn about the dangers of pursuing criminals on your own. Robert says he just reacted.
That's it. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. And it never crossed my mind what could happen.
Tonight, police are still looking for the suspect that stole Robert's truck this week. In San Jose, Marianne Favreau, NBC Bay Area News.
I guess the thief was smart enough not to steal the AirTag.
Apparently. I think Robert bought some DMT from Marshall. I don't know, man.
He seemed it. The video reminded me a little bit of a Madison Star Moon video, like how he's in the car, like with the, like you could see him driving and he's like talking about what he's doing and stuff. You remember when Madison Star Moon chased the pesticide truck?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Absolutely, and got out and stood in the middle of the of the spray, and like, oh my god, I can't believe you're doing this. Yeah, no, this guy strikes me as very Looney Tunes. But good on him. Got his truck back. I have to say though, what's the old saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right. So my truck got broken into, and I lost $5,000 worth of tools for my livelihood not too long ago. So why did you why were you keeping any tools at all? $500 worth of tools in your truck? Like, hello, people don't just break into any car, right? They break into a car because they see something or they think they're going to get something out of it. They're not usually trying to steal the car, in fact. Or if they are, they're going to take whatever's in it and then leave the car, right? Because the car is the easy thing to track. Why are you making yourself vulnerable to this? How this happened twice, right? Like, I'm good on you for getting it back, but like, you might want to secure the car a little better.
Yeah,
just saying.
Trucks with lock boxes are actually common to be stolen because people think there might be something in the lockbox.
Sure, yeah. So it's just I'd say just be a little safer with your truck then, if it matters that much. Like, clean out the garage and park it in the garage. I don't know. It looks like you're at a house. Doesn't look like you're in some sort of apartment complex. Anyway, well, everyone, that's just good advice in general. Don't leave shit out in your car overnight, no matter where you live, because that shit will get broken into, guaranteed. Happens to everybody. All right. Well, that was a very efficient show, Producer Dave.
Yeah, right around an hour.
Very nice. And
gives me a little more time to kill before Local Love, but that's fine. I'm usually kind of running around between the shows, so this will give me a few more minutes here. I'm going to read us out this week, I think. Everybody, thanks for listening to Downballot. We do the show live every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. And make sure you check out our other podcasts, especially check out How the Tech Are You? Because that one is a podcast that needs listeners, and you can find that on every podcatcher. This is Audible Smoke Signal. The song is called Locals. And we'll be back in, 15, 20 minutes or something for Local Love.
Peace.
Time to get the party started. Pick up my phone just to check and see who's calling. Dress up real nice for the ladies at the bar, and I'm driving in my car just to get to where they are. Here at the local scene is where I plant my feet. It's where I smoke my cigarette and I hold my drink. I look at all my friends, they're all blazing greens. Here at the front of the stage, waiting for MTV. Where are those guys who's standing next to me with a pipe in his hand, ready to blaze for me? About 5 minutes later, we're all singing Queen. Now get the fuck up on stage and rock the scene, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. I turn and head back to the bar for a refill, man, because you know where we are. We're headed out to the car to smoke another one and another one. Now just when the magic starts kicking in, I hear relapse playing, you know it's time to head in. Alright everybody, now it's time to grab a new drink. Spark it if you got it and then pass it to me, yeah. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. Last up on the bill for the show tonight is Down and Dirty at 5, so we're headed outside to spark up another joint. Now who's got my lighter? Stoner E, of course, shouldn't you be inside?
I'm all up in this bitch, being who I gotta be. I'm fucked up like the U.S. economy. The truth is that I don't think logically. Stoner E take you on a psychedelic odyssey. Now inside motherfuckers is rockin' me, and outside shit we smoke a lot of broccoli. Rocky the roller, yo, that sexy girl be jockin' me. Ain't too drunk to fuck, but I'll probably do it sloppily.
We do what we wanna do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy the band, enjoy that band. We do what we wanna do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band.
Marley say that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Well, Bob Marley said that he like jamming, and he hope he like jamming too. Well, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yes, I gotta say, thank you, Bob, we do. Yeah,
we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we wanna do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we wanna do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band.